Welcome to another Ask Arlington. I'm Jay Warren. Ask Arlington is a show that is dedicated to answering the questions that you have about what's happening here in our city. On this episode, we are focusing on the voter-approved Abram Street rebuild, a 2-year revitalization project to enhance a major gateway into the American Dream City. The Arlington City Council awarded a $26.1 million contract to Rebcon Inc. in February to rebuild Abram Street between Cooper and Collins Street. Construction began earlier this month, and the first phase of construction includes the removal of the traffic island at the southeast corner of Cooper and Abram Streets and the installation of temporary lanes along the south curb line of Abram Street between Monroe and Lamp Streets. Joining me now to answer your questions is Keith Brooks, who's the Assistant Director of Public Works and Transportation. Keith, thanks so much for joining us today.
Thank you.
This is a big project.
Yes,
you guys
it is.
have a lot on your plate right now because, of course, all the other road construction projects throughout the city are also going on in addition to this one. But this one is certainly one of the largest. Give us an overview of the project.
Most definitely. Jay, it's a project we're very proud of. It's a project that we're just starting construction. It's of course, from Cooper to Collins. It's going to be a complete roadway rebuild. So the citizens will be getting a brand new street, which that includes water and sewer improvements, storm sewer improvements. We'll have wider sidewalks, street lighting. We'll have traffic signal improvements, things of that nature. So it's a great project for us to begin here in downtown Arlington. So we're really excited about it.
Absolutely, and we should point out this is really I think the third phase of the Abram Street rebuild. Definitely. So this really started on our eastern border and has moved now to this last section, right?
It has. Actually, we've completed Abram Street from Collins all the way to Great Southwest Parkway. So we've had 3 sections that we've already completed, and so this will be the fourth and maybe final.
Yeah, all right.
Final leg.
It's a constant process.
Right.
And I know that a lot of people are worried about the dust and dirt this is going to create, so to speak. I mean, it is not going to be an easy process because of the congested area we're going to be dealing with. But you guys have a plan for at least having to hopefully minimize some of that, right?
Right. So we do know it's going to be an inconvenience for a lot of business owners and residents and people that traveled through Abram Street. Right. And we've dealt with projects like this before in that sense. So we'll try to minimize the disruption, if you will, to the business community and also to travelers as much as we can, as far as trying to minimize lane closures and kind of time them at certain times of day or at night when we can. If we do have to have major intersection closures, we'll notify the public. We'll put out notices and what have you to make sure that everybody knows where they can travel and where they can't. So we'll try to minimize it as much as possible and communicate with everybody as to what's going on with the project. And
you have an extra incentive that is not in our normal construction projects for this one, correct?
Right. Most definitely.
Yeah, which is to do what?
All right, so the big incentive we have for this project that's a little different from most of our projects, we have a huge bonus on this project. And the reason why we put a big bonus on this project, about $4,000 a day bonus for the contractor to finish early. The reason why we want to do this is because we want to ensure that the contractor has a huge incentive to not only get out here and stay out here and be aggressive, is what we really wanted to do, is and finish the project earlier than anticipated. Now we're still working to see how early we can actually complete that as we get into the actual construction. But that's the ideal of is get in here, do a quality job, but do it as quickly as possible.
Yeah. So shave a couple of months off and everyone's going to be happy about that.
Most definitely.
All right, well, let's get to our first question. We got some really good questions from our residents on this one. Our first one comes from Mary Stewart. Mary asks, what are the benefits of the rebuild? How is the construction traffic being handled to lessen the impact on businesses along Abram Street? And there is a major concern about, we've got a lot of great businesses in downtown, and we don't want them to suffer during this process.
Most definitely.
So can you speak to that?
Most definitely. And during this whole entire process, we had public meetings with the business owners and property owners, and we wanted buy-in on this project. Right. So not just during the construction, but during the design phase, we actually had property owners able to come out and look and see what we're building, have input on it. And even during the right-of-way acquisition phase. So there was a lot of input going into the project prior to construction that we're very proud of. And then we want to foster that and keep that going as we go through construction. Keep that same collaborative effort together. So as we build, we'll still meet with property owners on a regular basis, and make sure that we are communicating exactly what's going on, so there's no surprises to the business community and the traveling public.
Yeah. Of all the benefits you described, increased pedestrian traffic, increased lights, all of those things are going to make downtown so much better.
Most definitely.
And so if these businesses, and it may be a little painful for the next 18 to 2 years, 18 months to 2 years.
Right.
But at the end of the day, they'll be reaping a lot of benefits from that too, which is great.
Most definitely, and that's what we really want to push. We know it's going to be a challenge to get there, but at the end of the day, we're creating a great destination. Yes. We're creating this downtown friendly, pedestrian friendly environment that people will feel proud about walking about and going to different businesses, going to concerts at the Levitt, and just hanging out in downtown, going to restaurants and feeling like this is a great place to be.
Yeah, there's great momentum, and this
Most
is certainly
definitely
a part of that. Well, our next question, Keith, comes to us from Bill Horcher. He asks, and I think a lot of people are probably wondering this, is Shipley's staying? This is kind of a mainstay of downtown Arlington. Everyone's had a Shipley's donut.
Right.
So they're staying put, right?
Right. Yeah, I mean, we love Shipley's,
Yes,
and we actually, during the design process, we actually met with them, met with the ownership and the tenant there, and just tried to make sure that we had a game plan as far as what we could do, as far as their traffic and things, and folks that go to their shop and buy donuts. And so, we worked with them to see if we can work with their drive-through window and maybe change some of the configuration a little bit for a more efficient situation for them. So we have been working with them, so we hope that they'll stay, and of course they're a mainstay and they'll be here for years to come.
So in a little switch there, it certainly would help during the construction phase, but actually probably will benefit after construction as well,
definitely.
if it's more efficient routes.
Most definitely. So that was the game plan. So hopefully everything will work out just fine.
Sounds great. Well, our last question comes to us from Sarah Russell Miller. Sarah is writing in saying, what's the deal with changing the downtown parking to the back-end spots? We've gotten a lot of questions about that, obviously on our Facebook page as well here at the city. Describe what those are and what's the rationale behind it.
Right. Okay, so the back-end angle parking is basically the reverse of what people normally either you're going to see head-in parking or you're going to see parallel parking. So this is the opposite of that. And the ideal is basically for safety. We wanted to look at an innovative way that, with the unique situation we have in downtown Arlington, we have a lot of restaurants that have head-in parking. And so we wanted to change that to make it safer. With the back-end angle parking, as you back in, you're already on the street. And so, people behind you, they'll see that you're already on the street. You can stop, you can start to back in, and it's actually easier than the typical parallel parking.
Absolutely.
I struggle with parallel parking myself, so it's actually easier than that. And so it's safer than head-in parking, because when you head in, it feels safe as you pull in. But the problem is when you get ready to leave, you're backing out, you have a blind spot. If there's a large vehicle beside you, you really can't see anything. So you're kind of inching out into traffic, kind of hoping nobody, hits you or you have
slow down and let you out.
Exactly. And so this eliminates that, and it's also safer for exiting. So when you exit your vehicle, you're heading towards the sidewalk. Especially if you have small children, you want them to be able to go towards the sidewalk and not towards the street. And it's also good as far as convenience, as far as unloading. So if you're unloading something out of your trunk, you're right there at the sidewalk. You don't have to worry about watching traffic as you do it. So it's just a much safer situation.
Well, we should point out that these parking spots are all around basically the 101 Center, the new complex at 101 Center, both on Mesquite and Center and Abram Street.
That's correct.
If you haven't tried it out yet, the advice I have, and I had to do this myself, was experiment a couple of times. The first time you may not be the best at it, but by time 2 or 3, you'll get the hang of it and you will see the benefit of it.
That's right, most definitely.
And we're able to get more parking spots in there as well, which is a benefit from parallel parking.
That's right.
There's a lot of benefits to it. So try it out. We've got a public service announcement also on the city's YouTube channel that you can check out, and it kind of gives a demonstration of how it all works.
That's right.
So, well, keep that. We really do appreciate that. Before we let you go and get back to work on Abram Street and all your other projects, tell us a little bit about how people can learn more about this project. If they've got questions, they want to know about what's happening with an event, is it still going on, or where do I park? What do they do?
Right, most definitely. Of course, you can go to the city website. We have a public works page that has all vital information. We actually have a Abram Street project web page that talks about everything that you want to know about the project, and we'll keep that updated on a regular basis. And of course, there's a My Abram campaign that's also a part of that. So they can log on to that or take a look at that website. And then what we want to also promote, we'll have monthly communication meetings with the community, so they can be invited to come to those meetings and just kind of see what's going on, where they can actually talk to us and the contractor if they have any concerns. And so we'll be scheduling those and posting those also.
And we'd love for you to come to the city's website at arlingtontx.gov or myarlingtontx.com. Either one will give you all that information. But you guys are also connected with Waze, right?
That's correct.
So how could our residents use that if they're familiar with that already, have it downloaded on their phone? What's the connection there? Right.
With Waze, it's a great app, and we use Waze all the time as far as putting in road closures. So it's a great app as far as when the city puts in those road closures, it automatically tells you where you can and cannot go, and it gives you the best route to get around those closures. And so that is a great tool that we use all the time as far as putting in road closures, and we want to encourage people to use that as we continue with this project.
It's tailor-made for a project like this, where you're going to have different closures periodically throughout the campaign and the project. So we encourage people to use that, and also go to our website. You'll learn more there as well.
Most definitely.
Keith, thanks so much. We do appreciate you coming in today and all the hard work you're doing for this project.
Thank you. So we look forward to it.
Thank you. And thank you to you at home for sending in those questions. We got some great ones this time. That'll do it for this week's Ask Arlington. Tune in next time when we'll answer more of your questions.